Hello, everyone. Today's topic is automation. And whenever we talk about automation, Ansible is one of the toolkits that we have in our minds. Together with Jacek from Red Hat, we are going to cover a few new elements in the Ansible ecosystem today. Jacek, if you could briefly introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jacek Skórzyński, and I'm a solution architect at Red Hat, Mr. Ansible, I would say. In my spare time, I like to ride the bikes, play volleyballs, and all other activities except automation.
And I'm Chief Software Architect at Storware. My background is mostly virtualization and, in general, infrastructure, but obviously, automation is one of the key aspects that we also have in mind whenever we develop our products in Storware as well. So, let's start maybe with the execution environments. It's one of the things that we have talked previously on one of our previous meetings. If you could describe briefly what it is and tell us a bit more how to prepare such an execution environment.
All right. So the today topic is about tools, enterprise tools, or tools we use for enterprise automation as a developers. And execution environment right now is a key element in our development journey. And what is actually execution environment? It's an equivalent to what we already know very well, I hope, which is Python virtual environment. So all the dependencies, Ansible versions, all the Python dependencies, all the other like modules, collections, and different things. We are going to pack and prepare and then present to the world as an execution environment. So it's basically a container image which we need to build before we start developing our automation scripts, playbooks.
Okay, so and what we need to use to build it.
Yeah. So the simple answer is ansible-builder. Yeah, this is the simple one, and the tool is dedicated to create execution environments. So basically, that's what it does. So this is the simple flow which we're gonna use, or we normally do whenever we would like to create an execution environment. We need a ansible-builder, which is a purely command line tool. It just grabs a execution environment, a minimal one, or we can provide such a UBI image with some additional dependencies, and then build on top of it or inject into it all the dependencies, Ansible version, Python version, all the Python dependencies which we're gonna use for the certain use case or in general, basically. And this is called Ansible execution environment. And then if we create that, then we are able to push it to whichever registry, container registry, we would like to have it there. Yeah. So that's the basic idea about that. And we're gonna create
That
the
during
one
our
today.
demo.
Yeah.
There is one additional command. It's called ansible-navigator. If you could describe, maybe I heard that it replaces several other tools.
Yep.
So what it does actually?
Actually, ansible-navigator is the replacement for main command in Ansible, which is Ansible playbook, which for some of you could be like a weird thing, or at least something which you don't expect. Yes, but this is true. And ansible-navigator is basically a tool which is ready to understand execution environment. So this is the main thing here. This is the essence. When we've got an execution environment, we need basically another tool. And Ansible playbook wasn't able to understand execution environments, which Ansible Navigator does right now.
And if I use, let's say, this Ansible-navigator run playbook, it is going to automatically select appropriate execution environment for me.
Yes, because by default, Ansible Navigator, you select which execution environment you're gonna use by default in the config file for the Ansible Navigator. And if you do not change this in the command itself, because you, of course, obviously you
So
have
I
such
can
an option.
run this playbook in specific
Execution environment. Yes, and even more, you are able to go into each of the execution environments and check what's inside. So what kind of version, what kind of Python version, what kind of Ansible version, what collections you've got there, what kind of modules, plugins, and all the stuff which you need to start your automation properly.
It eventually is actually a container image.
It's
inside.
a container image, yeah. Basically, we use Podman by default,
Mhm.
but you can also use Docker if you want to start it. Yes, it's up to you basically. So this is how it looks like. It has a two different types or look and feel, I would say. The default one is this 2E so semi-graphical user interface, yes, in a command line, where you can just jump into the different aspects of your of the navigator and of your playbooks of your environment. The second one is, of course, purely command line, like this one on the previous slide, where you've got just an Ansible navigator run and the playbook, and basically that's it. But as you mentioned, Marcin, there are several commands which Ansible Navigator will replace. And Ansible Playbook is just one of them. There are more. So Ansible Inventory, Ansible Documentation, Ansible Config, all of them you're gonna find right now as an options, as an extensions to just Ansible Navigator. So if you would like to see the documentation, you are just going into the navigator, selecting correct execution environment, and then you've got all the needed documentation for your playbooks, for your modules, for your plugins, filters, whatever you want. Yeah, so this is one.
And is there any specific are there any limitations of these new commands compared to their counterparts in the previous release?
Basically, you're gonna do everything. I mean, the same thing
One
with
to one.
both, one to one.
But with with keeping in mind that by default, whenever I use Ansible Navigator, it's going to actually be invoked inside specific default if I don't provide execution environment.
Yes.
Okay.
One remark or here, you can also force Ansible Navigator to use like a standalone Ansible. I mean, the one which you install via RPM package manager, for example. Yeah, so there is an option to use Ansible Navigator with a standard Ansible, like Ansible Playbook does previously. So this means that Ansible Navigator is more flexible compared to Ansible Playbook and other commands.
Okay, and how does execution environment fit into this overall process now?
Yeah, so here you are. This is the flow. So the process of starting or developing Ansible content, Ansible playbooks is as follows. So first of all, you need to create your own execution environment. Actually, just let me correct myself. Maybe not necessarily every time you need to create your own execution environment. There are a lot of different execution environments already prepared. For example, Red Hat ships like 4 different execution environments you can just use and run your playbooks. That's something what you can do. But if you need some specific Python dependencies, most of the time maybe you need some specific version of Ansible, or even some collections, some content like modules, plugins inside execution environment, then definitely you need to create your own. You can of course modify the one which already exists, so add something additional to it. That's also an option, but then in return you're gonna get your own execution environment. So we need to prepare one using ansible-builder, and when you've got this ready locally, you are able to push this, of course, also with ansible-builder to whatever registry you prefer, whatever Docker-like registry you prefer. So that's there is no need to select some specific one. You can use whatever you want.
And if I run with commands with the navigator, is it going to automatically fetch all of these different execution environments from any predefined registry?
You can just during in a command select what kind of execution environment and from which registry you would like to grab with the version tag, whatever you want. And then ansible-navigator will use it. Yes, or the more persistent option would be just to create specific config file for your execution, for your ansible-navigator, or for the specific project. So then your ansible-navigator will know which kind of execution environment it needs to take and from where. So that's the option, and then you are ready to use, ready to fire, to start your playbooks, basically. So that's the flow, and that's what we can do and what we should get used to in the near future.
One component here I notice is private automation hub. What is it?
We've been talking about this previously in a previous previous webinars. And we've been talking about Automation Hub in general, which is the online one, which is the like a global automation hub, part of
Like
automation
a
platform,
marketplace,
something like that. Yes, this automation hub online just covers only curated and certified content, which we ship as Red Hat with our automation platform. But you can also put together all the content what you're going to use inside your organization in private automation hub. So basically, you can do something like this. You can rely on this automation hub online, which is on the cloud.redhat.com. That's what you probably going to do by default, because you would like to rely on the certified content first. But then maybe at some point you need some Galaxy content, some community content, which is not maybe necessarily available here on Automation Hub online, but is available here in Ansible Galaxy. And if you go further in the automation development, in the content development, like module development, role development, then at some point you're gonna need to create your own collections, your own execution environments, basically your own custom content, and you can put it as well inside your private automation hub. So basically, this is the content aggregator on-prem in your environment inside your data center, with full control from your side about the versions of collections, about versions of different execution environments, and so on and so forth. And you've got a full control here. So this can be like a one source of the content in your organization regarding Ansible content. So then your automation controller can just consume it.
Okay. Now I guess it's also a good moment if you could describe maybe how it's actually being used as a part of maybe bigger workflow.
Yep. So this is the answer, and this is actually a scenario for our demo for today. So it's pretty complex. Maybe I will describe it here. Starting from the top, and starting to be precise from the collection itself. So first of all, what we're gonna do, we're gonna create our custom collection, And this custom collection will have is going to have modules, some plugins, and also roles. So we're gonna package basically everything, also together with some Python dependencies and so on and so forth. Yeah, so everything inside inside custom collection, and then we're gonna put this collection onto the private automation hub. So this is the first point. The second point, we're gonna create an execution environment. So we're gonna select a proper Ansible version. We're gonna select also proper Ansible or actually Python dependencies, and then also inject that new custom collection into this execution environment. So this is gonna come from the Ansible automation hub, this private Ansible automation hub, and we're gonna put together this via builder and our custom execution environment. And then we're going to publish it somewhere. And this somewhere is also private automation hub. So private automation hub right now can be a collection aggregator and can be also a registry for a container registry for our execution environments. And if we have everything here, then it's just a matter of time or piece of cake to start our automation on top one or all the three cluster node inside our environment. To be honest, I'm gonna use just one because I've got just one cluster or cluster node or one cluster of one node, so it's not gonna be actually a cluster at all. But it's gonna work, I hope, and I will show you how to do it step by step today.
Okay, so let's do the demo then.
Yeah, let's do the demo. Most exciting part. So everything is live, of course. I do not record it, and let me show you what I've done. So here is my Visual Studio Code where I'm connected already to my controller node, and I already put some content here. So this is the Ansible developer repository or folder. This comes from Git repository, which has a few components. First of all, I've got a collections. So collections folder where I've got my Jacek folder, which is gonna be a namespace here with a custom application. So this is my collection name. This custom app _app. This is my collection name, and what I've got inside it, I've got some modules here. So as you can see, I just copied some modules, some random modules from random collections. This is not my work. I've got also some roles, and this is actually my work. So here are some roles for some MariaDB installation and configuration, Nginx installation and configuration, and this gonna be a content of my custom app collection. So this is already done, and all the dependencies, all the needed folders and files, like for example meta file, which describes the minimum version of Ansible engine, is here. The second one is Galaxy YAML, which describes briefly what this collection is all about, with some documentation and so on and so forth. Some README file, really simple one. So I've got everything what I need in here. So first of all, let me create a file which I can then in return upload to my private automation hub. So I just create this collection set of folders with Ansible Galaxy collection init command. But now I'm gonna go to collection folder, yes, and custom app here and start this Ansible Galaxy collection build. So this will build an archive, basically, which I need to, yep. So this is it here. I did it previously just to avoid this copying stuff across different machines. So I already put it on my laptop here just to make it a little bit easier to upload during the demo. So let me connect to my automation hub. This is my automation hub. As I said, as I previously described, we've got this is the content aggregator, so the collection aggregator, and also execution environments aggregator. So here in collections, I've got several few different types of collections, like Red Hat certified. Those collections comes from the online source, the Automation Hub Online. I've got also some collections coming from the community part, like POSIX or MySQL. Those comes from directly from Galaxy, or can come from different GitHub repositories or GitLab repositories. And then I've got also my published space, which is right now empty. So first of all, what I need to create my namespace. And probably I did that already. So this is my namespace. You can name it whatever you want, as long as this is unique across this private automation hub. And then my namespace is empty, so I can just upload my collections. Where is it? Here. This is my collection. I just copied this previously, and when I'm gonna do the upload, it's gonna actually do some pre-checks before. So it's gonna start some default checking, do default checks, default tests about my collection and the content which is there, about some file permissions, which I probably did not set properly at the very beginning, some content inside even roles. So as you can see, there are some hints about maybe instead of using some command, please switch to proper module and things like that. Of course, this is something which we can ignore easily as long as we are sure that our Ansible content is valid, and it's of course it will work. So when we've got this done, this is almost over. And almost is because the collection, so it should be already there. Let me where is this approval? Yeah. So inside Ansible, our private automation hub, you've got also an option to have a full control over your content. So basically here I'm admin and I can do whatever I want. But if I'm just a content developer, before my custom collection will be available for everyone here on Automation Hub, maybe it's a good idea for someone to review it and to check if it's for sure ready to be published to the bigger audience. I would say mine is pretty good. Let's publish it. So right now, in my custom namespace, which is Jacek, I've got just one collection, which consists of different modules, different roles, different plugins. This is what I've done already. Yeah? So prepared collection with everything inside what we can imagine. Of course, I could also add some playbooks here, but this is basically what we need most of the time. So plugins, so modules, filters, plugins here inside the collection, maybe some roles as well. This is the content of the collection, standard content of the collection. All right. So now we've got the collection, and let's move on to some some execution environment part. So as I said previously, my execution environment will will be just dedicated for this collection. So it's gonna have only let me switch here, only the collection I've just created. So this custom app collection in my namespace. And why this is sometimes good idea. Sometimes customers would like to have would like to divide their execution environments between different use cases. So maybe you you do some automation on the cloud provider. So then you can just create dedicated execution environment for that kind of automation jobs. Yeah. So you're going to include all the necessary content, like all the collections, maybe some other additional requirements, and so on. So here you just this is the file, this requirements YAML file, which will tell my Ansible builder what to include in terms of collections. The second file, which is can be also kind of important, not important in my case right now, is requirements.txt, and this is the file which will add all the Python dependencies which are needed into inside my execution environment. But please have in mind that if you create here inside a collection additional requirement txt file, then specifying the collection name will just grab all the Python dependencies. So basically, if the collection is properly configured from the very beginning, then most of the time you don't need that requirements txt file at all. Right, so this is my file which will describe all the needed parameters for my custom execution environment, and I'm going to use that. And as you can see, there is one more, and this is actually needed for Ansible Builder to be able to grab actually this collection, which is already on my private automation hub. So here is my Ansible CFG. What I need, I just need to point my my Ansible builder to the proper automation hub or Galaxy or whatever source which has the proper collections with token, with URL, and that's basically what I need to do. All right, so let's go. I think let's a bit further. Yeah. Okay. So let's build our execution environment. So to do that, we need to go into this catalog, and custom execution environment. All right, and for that we need Ansible builder. I will show you this here in my notes. So we need actually Ansible builder build -f is the definition file, and -t is actually the name of my custom execution environment. Let me just copy this to avoid any typos, and let me let me change something. So this is gonna be my OVP custom app EE, and my definition file is here. So this will create my, hopefully, my new execution environment. It will take a little bit of time. Why? Because what Ansible builder will do, it will actually yeah, here it is. because I did not specify any specific execution environment it's gonna base on. That's why by default Ansible-builder will grab the minimum or the minimal execution environment shipped by default by Red Hat in this case, and then add to it all the collections, all the dependencies which I need. I will show you in a minute this. Right after it will finish the creation part. Yep, it's ready. So now, just to validate if this is really something what we are looking for, let's use Ansible-navigator finally. Okay, so let's do it with default. By default, Ansible-navigator will rely on this execution environment, so this default execution environment, and it will start in this TUI mode. Yeah? So what we can see here, if we go to images, oh, no, I'm not typing. If we go to images, we should see all the different execution environments we've got. And here is our custom execution environment. The default one right now is this execution environment supported RHEL 8. So this is the default one, which if we go a little bit further in here and see, let's say, for example, number 2, so Ansible version and different collections, you will see what's inside. So here are details about the collections which are inside this default execution environment, and here on the very bottom you've got the Ansible core version, which is 2.12.1. So let's go back and let's check our execution environment, the 8 number. So this is the one we've just created, and let's check what's inside. Oh, this should be a little bit less equipped with the content. As you can see, there is just one custom collection, and we also rely on this core Ansible core 2.12.1, and this is because it is based on this EE minimal RHEL 8 by default. Of course, you can choose whatever execution environment you would like to rely on. By default, Ansible-builder will rely on this minimal one, and then add all the needed dependencies to it. All right. So quit. I think this is the right one. So that was just a brief overview, or just a touch, I would say, for our Ansible Galaxy. We just search through the different execution environment and different collections. Of course, there are plenty of different options there. I encourage you really to go there. So what we need then, I just already log into my private automation hub, and what I need here is to list or image, the image list. Let me just check for my OVP where it is. Yes, it is here. My image ID. And I'm ready to push it. So ID and my registry. Sorry for this TLS verification, but no. My bad. Right, and before I do it, I'm gonna check if execution environment, what kind of execution environments I've got here. So some customs, my previous customs. Yeah, so I expect here to be our OVP custom app EE, ready to use. So let's see if it's gonna work. Hopefully, yeah. Right. And it's gonna push this image, this created image, to my private automation hub. Of course, I can add more tags, more versioning, whatever you need. Actually, you can really do a great job here, and it's already there. Should be there. So let me refresh this, and yep, this is my custom AAP EE, which is a new execution environment I just created. All right. So what else we can do? When we've got everything we need here, it's maybe a good time to first of all create some playbook, or maybe run some playbook. So let me connect to my Ansible controller. This is my Ansible controller. Let me just make it a little bit bigger for you. What I need here is actually I need to make sure that my execution environment will be available here. So what I need to do is then only if the image is not present, then for any kind of organization we'll skip that. And then of course I need the registry credentials, which I previously created for my private automation hub. And of course image I'm gonna take from this place. Yep. Here it is. So it should be the one. All right. And what I've done already, I prepared two virtual job templates for you to demonstrate virtual environment, execution environments, and collections in my file. So this is the playbook which I'm going to rely this app install, and this one is actually right now created on the default execution environment. So if I go edit, this is the execution environment which is the default one for the controller. It of course can see our OVP execution environment, but right now, just to show you that it will not work, I will start this one, or maybe the smaller one, the app prepared, because both of them rely on the execution environment we've just created. So and right now this is the different execution environment. So my expectation is to get an error. Because we are not gonna, or actually our Ansible controller, Ansible playbook will not be able to grab the proper collection. Why? Because the answer is here. We've got some playbooks here, and for example, for this app VM prepare, this playbook will look for a role which is in the namespace Jacek in my custom app collection, and this is the name of the role. And if I specify a different execution environment, then of course Ansible will check if there is maybe some other place like Galaxy or something like that, but it will definitely fail because this custom collection is only inside my my private automation hub or my execution environment. And in this case, I'm gonna rely on my execution environment. So if I go and launch this, this will take a little bit longer than we expect. And why? Because it's gonna also refresh the dynamic inventory, which it use also for that to sort the proper machine which is gonna be then automated. So right after my inventory sync will finish, then my app prepare will start. And let's observe what's gonna be the outcome. Oh, unfortunately, does not have a proper role, a proper collection. So let's change it. Let's go to the where is this? Too many playbooks. Yeah, let's go here. And as I already have my execution environment definition, so I can change this to my OVPEE. And then very important one is to save it. And then let's change it in the second one, this custom app install, also to the proper execution environment. OVPEE. Oh, select. Right. And my playbook will run on the machine which is in a group just created, which you've got here in my Red Hat virtualization dynamic inventory, just to show you that that there is actually something there, and for me to check if it's gonna work. Yeah, there is one VM, and because of the tag, because I group by tags, and that's what I do here in this dynamic inventory, and this is the IP address of the machine. So let's start it then. Maybe before we start, let me turn off the synchronization part on the inventory, as we already have this machine synchronized. So we don't need that kind of waiting time anymore. And let's start this custom app VM prepare. Let's see if it's going to work on our custom execution environment. Yep, now it's better. Hopefully it's going to work. Keep your finger crossed, Marcin. As this is live demo, as you can see, and we're going to see this in the summary. Of course, the verbosity is really low here. I don't want to, overload you with too many information coming from the log. So let's start now another one, app install. Let's launch it, and it will hopefully do much more job. It's gonna actually install all the stack up to WordPress application together with MariaDB, with Nginx, with PHP somewhere in between, and then deliver fully ready application to use, WordPress application here. So it's as you can see, changing just to the proper execution environment, it makes the difference. And now my playbooks can just grab a proper role from the proper execution environment, or from proper place, because placing roles in an execution environment is one of the options. It of course depends what you would like to achieve. Sometimes it's a good idea, sometimes maybe there are some better ideas. But this definitely shows you that that kind of simple playbook, like this here, just one role, like this here, just a few roles, and bam, we've got a up and running application, basically from scratch. So it's working now. Hopefully that was good demo for you.
Of course it was. It looks like everything's fine.
Yep.
So now I guess it's also a good moment for questions. So if you have any questions, please write it in the questions tab. And I have already one. What is the difference between using ansible-builder and using builder/podman build?
Yeah, so the ansible-builder is the tool dedicated for execution environment creation. And a builder is actually a tool from the Podman stack dedicated to create a container images in general. So if you would like to create a container image, what kind of type you can imagine? Yes, what is your use case? And it's not an execution environment. You're going to use a builder. Again, if you would like to create this this base container image to create then execution environment on top of it, then you're going to use a builder to create just this minimal set of things, like use UBI, rel UBI, then add Ansible, then add Python, and then use this container image as your let's say starting point for custom execution environments. Then you're going to use both of them. Yeah. So first one to create, let's say, like a container image, this base container image, which then your execution environment will rely on. Yes.
So technically, I would use builder also to push the metadata to our Ansible automation hub in this case. And if I have just a plain image, I will not have metadata. Strictly speaking, right?
You need this plain image. You need to because Ansible builder does not build an image and container image itself. It relies on some, or it grabs some existing container image. Yes, it can be already predefined execution environment, and you can just add to it some bits and pieces you would like to for your custom stuff. But you need to have some existing image, and for that you're going to use this builder tool from the Podman collection or repository.
Okay, so I guess we have the answer. Any other questions? Whenever you have pushed the execution environment, you have referred to the image itself, right? So actually, it pulled the image during the launch process, the basic image, and then it used it as the execution environment.
Yes. And then your this file, which actually this YAML file, which actually describes your execution environment, adds some additional stuff into existing one.
Okay, at this point I don't see any further questions. If you have any additional questions, just drop us email, and we'll publish this on the YouTube as well in a few days. So thank you for watching. Thank you, Jacek, for today's demo, and have a nice day.
Yep.